Hey puppy trades, I hope you're enjoying your Friday. I've been loving my Friday making these videos, and so I wanted to do a technical analysis video of DraftKings. Now, DraftKings has had a nice little sell-off here into a very nice 61.8%, 50% retracement of the prior move, right? So the 61.8%, the 50% retracement of a prior move is a place where we as traders start thinking, okay, this might be a buy the dip moment, okay? Before we go further into what DraftKings is about to do, we're going to talk about what DraftKings has done and some of my previous projections, right? So I was asked about DraftKings in August. I said, I think this is the path that DraftKings is going to take to 49. You know, we had declining volume. You know, this was basically a bull flag setup. We had declining volume with, sideways movement. So that was bullish consolidation. And we said that we're targeting 49 and that the longer swing trade target was 61. Okay. And then I was asked for a time target later. And I said DraftKings is on its way to 48.50 if it holds above 33, right? So I tweeted on August 18th, DraftKings was on its way to 48.50 by mid-September. Of course, we know that happened. Okay, eventually, DraftKings went and hit the furthest target of 61. We're going to talk about how we got 61 as a target and where we may be going from then. Okay, so let's first look at this chart. Okay, we had a move right here that gave us our equal legs target. Okay, so from the length of this move placed here was the equal legs target for the bull flag, right? That's where we got 61 from, right? So when 61 was hit, and more especially when the median of this pitchfork was hit, if you didn't know that that was equal legs, or if you didn't know that that was the median of a very important pitchfork, you're holding the bag right now. And if you don't know technical analysis, if you're a fundamental trader, you're probably thinking like, oh snap, like is DraftKings about to crash? Are they going to cancel the NFL? You know, if you're a fundamental trader, you're at a loss right now because you don't know what this pitchfork is. Like you're not even aware of this, right? So we're going to talk about DraftKings going forward. We've already talked about where it's been. Now it's time to talk about where DraftKings is going to go, moving forward, right? So whenever a stock goes on a run like this, what you want to do is you want to see where is the 61.8 to 50% retracement of that move, right? Because once the stock starts selling off, that 61.8% retracement, that 50% retracement, that's an objective buy zone for you. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to make sure, of course, when the stock is selling off, that it's doing so with declining volume, right? And then you get a signal from a spike in volume that is a selling climax, okay? So let's talk about an invalidation for my bullish projection on DraftKings, right? I believe in wave principles, right? You make a high, you break that high, and when you retest that high, you want that to hold, right? So this candle right here is very important to me. I don't ever want to see DraftKings close below the 9-2 high of 41.29. Okay, so right now we're going to say that the invalidation level and the stop loss for DraftKings is 41. Okay, so let's just assume that DraftKings will hold above 41, that this projection is correct. Well, if DraftKings does hold above 41 and this projection is correct, then this is a very good setup, right? Because it's already had a very nice dip. And we already know that this is a valid pitchfork, right? We had all these beautiful reactions. We had these reactions right here. We've already used the median of this pitchfork as a reliable target before, right? And so, you get to use these pitchforks multiple times, right? If DraftKings turns higher, it's heading for the median of the pitchfork again. So what you would do, you would take the length of this move and you would place it at the low, okay? So if DraftKings does go higher, let's say 41 does hold as a low, what we're going to do is we're going to take this bar and we're going to put it right here, right? That's going to take us conveniently right back to the median of the pitchfork, right? So 41 is never broken. The projection is that DraftKings is going to go higher to reach 73, okay? So 41 holds as the low. The price target for DraftKings is 73. Okay, so let's talk about some evidence for this. How do we know this is not, the start of an impulse wave down or something like that, right? Even if this was a start of an impulse wave down, this would be wave one, right? So if you're an Elliott wave theorist and you really believe that DraftKings is about to crash, then you're going to say this is wave one. At the very minimum, we have a wave two correction that's going to take us back up higher, right? So even if you're like the biggest DraftKings bear, you got to admit that there's got to be a correction for your bearish scenario, right? So at the very minimum, you're expecting a retracement up, back into the 50s anyway, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to go even further. I think we're going to go to 73, okay? And here's why. We're going to take the length of this move, and we're going to place it at this low. And we're going to head back to the median of this pitchfork, right? So now let's talk about time targets. Let's talk about entries, right? The length of this move is 4 weeks, right? So normally what you would do is you would just add a month to this, right? You say, okay, this was 4 weeks, so this move is going to be 4 weeks. Here's why we're going to be a little conservative, and we're going to add, 2 weeks to that. Because this is right now a bottoming play, right? We have our parabolic SAR dots still bullish, right? If you're a long-term investor, this is a buy. If you're buying stuff that's, 3-6 months out, this is a buy. But if you're more of a shorter-term trader, you want to wait for these parabolic SAR dots to flip to bullish, right? So that's why I'm going to say 4 weeks is, a time target. But because this is a bottoming play and because these parabolic SAR dots are still going downwards, we need to give DraftKings more time. Okay, so the projection is clear. We're taking the length of this move and we're placing it here. Okay, if the high of 9.2, which is 41, holds, and it's never closed below, the expectation is that this is a healthy correction. This is a selling climax. We had declining volume, and we're about to turn around higher, and we're about to head to 73. Okay? So it's mid-October right now. The time projection would be 4 weeks, but because this is a bottoming play, and because these parabolic SAR dots are still downwards, we're going to add a few weeks to that. So we're going to say if DraftKings is above 41, the target is 73 by the end of November.